He said,
when government surveillance and intimidation is called freedom for terrorism or liberation for crime, freedom and liberty have become words without meanings.
when government surveillance and intimidation is called freedom from terrorism or liberation from crime, freedom and liberty have become words without meaning.
I agree.
Well, yeah.
That's all I can say, really.
Yeah,
I agree.
It harkens back to what we talked about in the previous video. You got that? Yeah. Because government surveillance, or watching you all the time, watching every move, and government intimidation, basically like, you either sign away this freedom or I can't keep you safe. Or just they intimidate you by using an event.
What will happen if all of it just disappeared? Because, I mean, like, I hate to use this example again, but let's look at the military in the United States.
The military-industrial complex.
Yes, I mean, what's their budget now that they have?
Oh, the military budget? Shit, I don't know. Hundreds of billions.
A lot of billions.
Yeah, no.
A lot of billions, right?
I mean, it's a lot. It's like double or triple the second highest other nation.
Yeah, because the other nations are, they're preoccupied with other things. But on the one hand, you have that now, because the Americans have the biggest military in the world, they're basically playing police with the whole world.
Well, yeah, I mean, they can. Who's gonna cross them?
Apparently no one, but...
They have nukes.
But everyone has nukes. But
they have more.
They have more. But I mean, do you have to?
You have to what?
Do you have to play police? Do you have to walk around like saying, hey, Iran, stop doing what you're doing or I'll come after you?
Because then you can.
What would happen if you just kind of just leave them alone?
Leave Iran alone? I don't know. I mean, most of the rhetoric you see is like that Iran is a terrorist state or something. But
yeah, but why are they a terrorist state to begin with?
I don't know.
You know what I mean? I mean, if you had left them alone from the beginning, I don't know why you went.
Well, they put the Shah in power because they wanted the oil.
Well, see,
I guess, or something. They wanted natural. They put the Shah in power so they can control the country. But then the people got pissed and threw the Shah out, and of course they blamed the Americans because why'd you do this to us? But now things have calmed down. But for some reason there are still people out there who like it sounds.
Done it in the first place.
No, that on people on the Iran side was still pissed, and people on the American side who are like, we should bomb them.
It seems to be the solution. Well, wait, what I'm trying to say is, what if? Let's leave Iran out of this for now. What if this like all the surveillance and all that shit stopped? What if it wasn't there? What if you got
all of it?
Yeah. What if
I don't know about all of it.
I don't know. Maybe you have still the police. You know what I mean?
Well, no. Of course you can have a police, but that's not surveillance. That's law enforcement.
Yeah, just to keep the peace.
Of course, you're always gonna need law enforcement.
But I'm talking about the government trying to, or the government stopping and trying to know what's up my asshole all the time with cameras and shit.
Like that.
What if you could walk down the street without that feeling of I'm being watched? Because I mean, sometimes you claim you've never littered, right?
Yeah, never have.
Now, let's say you have, right? If you did, especially because you've never done it before in your life, you drop something on the street and then you keep walking, maybe 5 meters later, we're in Europe, so we use meters.
Yeah.
What if 5 meters later you're like, what if somebody saw that?
I don't know. Depends on what I threw on the ground.
That could be anything. It doesn't matter. It's just that feeling of somebody might have seen that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's kind of always there because there are cameras everywhere.
Yeah.
But what makes it worse, and this kind of goes against my point now, is because I just realized everyone has a camera.
Yeah, it takes them a few seconds, but they can take out a camera if something happens. But then if they take away like the surveillance cameras, then people will make the argument that you're not being watched, but now the would-be criminals are also not being watched.
No, but I guess I'm basing it on this study that was done, I don't know, 10 years ago. I'm not actually sure. Not good in remembering these things. But what they did was they took two sets of college students and they put them in a jail to pretend. Half of them were guards.
Yeah.
The other half were inmates.
Yeah, the Stanford prison experiment.
Yeah. And you know what happened there? I mean, it all got out of control. The guards started
drunk with power.
Yeah, drunk with power. So I mean, as soon as you have cameras everywhere, and I mean, there's nothing I can do about it as a citizen. What else are they gonna do? What else are they gonna make me sign for? Unless I sign, they can't protect me.
Yeah. But I mean, the whole thing, I imagine they would claim that it was done with the best of intentions. We're trying to catch terrorists.
Yeah, I'm sure the Stanford prison experiment was also done with the best of intentions.
But
the
road to hell is paved with good intentions.
But I mean, yeah, but they keep on piling on more stuff. First there were police. Then, what came after that? The military, then the military, then the police, and then you had cameras everywhere, drones flying everywhere, policemen are driving cars everywhere. They have bikes, they have policemen that just walk around, they have police that are on horses. They're everywhere. There's surveillance everywhere. You're constantly being watched. What if you weren't? What if instead of thinking like it's getting bad out there, we better beef up this security, what if they didn't? What if they just didn't? Like, oh shit, this thing is happening, let's reduce the amount of surveillance.
But not law enforcement.
No, not law enforcement per se, but just so people can feel a little bit more at ease. I wonder if one thing might change things.
I mean, it's worth an experiment. It's worth looking into.
I think experiments like those have been done already. That they actually lessen the amount of surveillance and things got better.
But I mean, like now, again, in the States, I understand why some people are not happy with the police. But you obviously can't get rid of them. And obviously it'll be dangerous to demonize every single one of them too.
Yeah, of course. I mean, they're not all bad apples.
No.
But I do believe that from what I've learned, that their standards of training should be much better. Much better.
Because you can't. I mean, people make the argument that like the UK is just a smaller country, but they're a big enough country that if you were going to see the same things happen in the States there, then it should be happening, but it isn't.
Yeah, but again, from what I've learned, the training styles and duration are much different. Like here, for example, the training is like 2 or 3 years.
2 or 3 years, yeah. And from what I understand, the training in the United States is like 6 months.
Yeah, that's not enough.
No.
I mean, that's enough to just, I guess, enforce the law, because you know right from wrong, I guess.
No, but they need to...
And how to shoot a gun and that type of thing. But from all these videos that I'm seeing, that these cops are like choking people and everything, they get combat training. Whatever.
Right.
sure, they get combat training, but that's not what it's all about. It's not a war zone out there. The United States, I refuse to believe that the United States is just a war zone out there. You know?
Yeah.
What if instead of giving policemen tanks,
Yeah.
you know, anti-riot tanks and all these things, and like more weaponry, AR-15s and shit like that, what if they just started giving them better training, de-escalating
Yeah.
situations?
Not just better training, but weeding out the people who can't, who
Yeah,
aren't
it has to
fit
start.
for
Yeah,
it.
it has to start there. It has to start there, because I get the feeling.
Yeah.
I get the feeling that there are a lot of people becoming police officers just because, I don't know, they want to feel tough. They want to feel that they have the power. Maybe they were. I mean, I'm not calling them all this, but I guess the ones from the videos at least. You know, they were the bullies in school,
Or they got bullied.
or they got bullied even, and this is their way to get revenge. Who knows, you know? But there has to be some sort of
Vetting system.
vetting system. Yeah.
But
I mean, it's because
cops.
it's completely out of control. How, I mean, last week we saw this video of a dude. He was complying with what the officers were saying, even though it was very confusing.
yeah, because one was
Sit
saying
down
one
on the
to-
ground, extend your legs straight out. No, fold your legs, extend your legs, hands up, hands down in front of you, and then they tase him.
Yeah.
I mean, shit. First of all, one of them has to talk. I mean, you can't both be commanding him to do shit. Just work with each other. That's lesson number one. I mean, they have to really just relax. God damn it!
Yeah.
You know, just I don't get it. Anytime I see one of these things get out of control, you know, even if they say like this big black guy was rushing me, I had to do something.
Yeah.
I think it's a lame excuse, because yeah, he was attacking you, police officer, trained police officer with a gun. Calm down.
Yeah. And it's like earlier you said that they receive combat training, but sometimes I doubt they do, because lots of times where like there's a dude with, I don't know, a knife or nothing at all, like coming at a police officer, I'm like, and they
shoot him.
They shoot him. And like, well, I felt threatened
I
for my
know,
life,
right?
but I'm like, aren't you trained in hand-to-hand combat? Like, they can teach you how to disarm a dude with a knife, or just how to fight back. You're a police officer.
Yeah,
You're some-
non-lethal engagement.
Right. They call police officers, you know, like NYPD, New York's finest. There's a reason why finest is there. You're supposed to be, you know, the bravest among us. The best of us, the most noble, who said, I'm going to put my life on the line to protect my fellow citizen.
Exactly.
But instead you're like, no, I got to get home.
Exactly.
No,
That's
that's
what I was
not your
saying.
job. Your job is to make sure everyone else gets home.
Yeah, I understand that they want to get home, of course.
Of course, yeah.
Everybody wants you to get home. Nobody wants you to like sacrifice your life out there. We hope you don't.
You don't have to. But you go in with the understanding that you might have to.
Yeah, but
You just got to
it
protect
really
these
feels-
people.
It really feels like they I don't know how they perceive the world, but I mean, we've seen interviews before where it seems like some police officers think like it's us against them, and it really isn't, man. It is really what you're saying. You're supposed to be the best amongst us. You're supposed to like protect me. Damn it, I'm not supposed to be fucking power slammed by you.
But you know what? I see a lot of Americans in the comments saying, you should protect yourself.
Why the hell do we have the police?
Exactly. Why do we have any law enforcement at all? I mean, sure, I find myself in a situation where my house is being raided. The police isn't there yet. I'm gonna do my best to defend myself, but I can't just be like, well, the police are never coming. So I'm gonna have to defend, everything myself.
Yeah, but that doesn't work either, because as soon as you start defending everything yourself, guess what? You can get arrested for battery. You can
If you have a gun, and that's the thing. A lot of people argue that that's why you need guns. But then everyone has guns, including the guy robbing your house.
Yeah, but some people also say if everybody had a gun, things would be a lot more peaceful around here. Because then, I mean, maybe that's not a bad thing if everybody has a gun. And I can't believe I'm actually saying that, because then you have to have some sort of respect for one another.
Not respect. No. Fear.
Well, yeah, I guess. Yeah. Fear.
I gotta be careful. This guy might pop me.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
That's the idea that they have.
It's just like all those videos that you see of black people being called the N-word and everything.
Yeah.
They will all disappear. This guy is most certainly packing.
Yeah.
So, you gentlemen.
Yes. But then again, sometimes I think, because here where we live, very strict gun laws.
Very strict.
And so, if we introduce the X factor of, very lax gun laws, will that really make the country more safe? Because the country's pretty safe right now.
I don't think it would.
No.
I really don't think it would.
Everything's pretty okay right now.
The problem with guns is there are too many people that are irresponsible and have hair triggers. So as soon as people are calling 911 on each other for nonsense. They're basically using it as a weapon. Now imagine the same people that got actually pissed at someone and said, like, my boyfriend's being a dick right now, I need you to come and arrest him. What if those same people had access to a gun? I believe I read something like that. Like a woman shot a guy because he wouldn't give her the last fries or something like that. Like a really, really stupid thing that I read last week. I kind of put it out of my mind because I couldn't believe it, but I think it did happen. That's the problem with guns.
Like giving guns because look, if you give guns away like that, then if you say everyone has a right to it, then everyone's gonna get it, including the people who really shouldn't be getting it.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure, if you're a responsible gun owner, you don't fuck around with it, then sure.
But how
have a gun, but exactly, how do you separate the people who are gonna be responsible gun owners from the people who aren't?
Well, then you say vetting or something like that, but that doesn't quite work either.
Not 100%, no.
No, because you have a gigantic corporation or organization like
the NRA.
The NRA, their whole business is selling guns.
Yeah.
Selling guns. They don't sell guns.
No, they don't.
But they promote the usage of guns in the Second Amendment.
Yeah.
So any new law that stands in their way, they're gonna fight to abolish it. Think about the Second Amendment.
Yeah.
It's incredible. The Second Amendment. It's in the name.
Yeah.
Just change
they
the
added
fucking
it.
thing.
Yeah, they added it in. But I think final thing. I think U.S. is just. They're pretty far gone when it comes to guns, because at least here they got it. They nipped that in the bud pretty quick. But even if they repealed the Second Amendment somehow, and they made guns illegal in the US, like they did in Australia, but even how you're gonna, there are so many guns. You can do like a gun buyback like Australia did, but even that, you won't get all the guns.
No, you'll never get all the guns.
You'll never get all the guns.
I think there's something else going on now that I think about it. I think there's something that makes Americans want to buy guns. And I'm not talking about the ones that are just, they like guns, they like how they're made, they like how they look, and they collect them because they just like guns. But I'm talking about the ones that really, really believe in the Second Amendment, the existence of the Second Amendment, that it was implemented to protect yourself against a radical
tyrannical government.
Tyrannical government, right?
Right.
Going back to the fear thing,
right?
Isn't that a form of like using fear? Because imagine if the Second Amendment wasn't there at all, right? Or maybe it isn't directly the Second Amendment, but something. There's some psychological reason that Americans always feel like they're under threat.
Yeah.
You know, or that's the way that I perceive things from the news, because I'm not there. I don't know. Maybe when you're there, of course, it's different.
Yeah.
But from all the gun stories and everything that I hear, I feel like, yeah, there's some underlying reason why people are like, I gotta get a gun because I feel like I gotta protect my family.
Yeah.
I gotta protect myself.
Because they're like the criminals have guns.
Yeah. But but the criminals, maybe even the criminals are affected by that same reason.
Right.
They're just much faster to act on it because of I don't know. They just don't care what people think, and they're like, I'm just gonna go get a gun and that's it. And somebody who just wants to protect himself might think twice because it's like, I don't know, gun. No?
No, but what did they do? What did the Americans do to make sure the criminals don't get guns?
I have no idea. But what I'm trying to say is, maybe even this. But what I'm trying to say is that what if somehow someone took a different look and figured out what that psychological reason is, that they can remove that factor somehow? Because if you can remove that psychological factor that makes people want to buy guns, right? I don't think they will anymore.
It's a series of things that makes, it's probably a lot of things that makes people buy guns. It could be fear. It could be they just like shooting.
Yeah.
They want to feel, powerful.
Yeah.
Well, this is what the Second Amendment reads, verbatim. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Now, the way I translate that is by the people, they mean the aforementioned well-regulated. What are you doing?
It's an ad that started playing. Sorry. Go again.
But yeah, the right of the people. By people, they meant the aforementioned well-regulated militia. That, like, every state can have their own militia in case the federal government becomes tyrannical.
Yeah.
See, that makes sense to me. But every single person in every single state can't have a gun. Then, you're just kind of asking for trouble. And what I was going to say before was, if it's based off that you have to defend from a tyrannical government, then it's conceivable that some people argue that the American government is already tyrannical. With things like, the Patriot Act and like basically taking away, freedoms little by little. But
George Carlin used to say that.
Yeah. And so it's totally possible that the government could become tyrannical in a way that you won't even notice.
Yeah, you can keep redefining tyrannical, right?
Yeah. And then even then, you're always going to have, especially now where the American government is always based on this black and white stance of Republican versus Democrat. They have no other option. Everything is black and white, up and down, left to right, you and me. Me versus them. Then you're almost always gonna split the country in two. even if you find yourself in a civil war, it's going to be a civil war because some people are going to be like, no, the government isn't tyrannical at all.
Yeah.
Or the others are like, no, they are tyrannical.
Imagine if we didn't have parties at all.
No parties at all. Everyone's independent.
Yeah.
But then, parties do things like, provide money for campaigning or help them spread the word.
Yeah, but come on. I mean, it's also because, I mean, in the United States, they're campaigning all the time, man. You know how much money goes into campaigning all the time?
Campaigning alone.
Yeah, and campaigning alone all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, their American president is campaigning as we speak.
Yeah, and he's not. I mean, he's only been there 2 years now.
Yeah,
but he's been campaigning ever since he got in office.
I mean, there's another election up in November, so
the midterms.
Yeah.
So
man, I'm curious about that one.
Yeah.
I'm very curious about that.
What's gonna happen? I don't know. Let's wait and see.
I mean, then you really see where Americans stand, because there's all sorts of polls and everything. People think Trump is an idiot. Another group of people think he's not an idiot. But it depends where you are, because in our monkey sphere, he's an idiot. But the vote will really show. I mean, right now in my monkey sphere, I would think that the American people want a change, and they're gonna vote for a ton of Democrats, but might be completely wrong. Might be that they just vote for Trump again, even more so than before.
Yeah. One more, because this one, connects to the next one. Really went off. A tangent there, the gun.
Yeah.
But yeah. He says, because remember before, he says the end. Freedom and levity have become.
Okay, let's just take a break, because this is getting out of control.
Now the cat is like, there's a baby crying.